Welcome back, YouTubers and Madden fans. This is MADDENMONEYSHOT bringing you part 2. Or if you're on my Patreon, you're watching the entire thing straight out the gate. But this is part 2. A couple more plays out of my singleback wide trips formation. I have like 5 more plays. They're not all going to make YouTube, so if you want to see all of them, make sure you check out my Patreon. But other than that, PA slot cross, that's the first play that I'm going to show today. You guys probably know this play if you watched my channel long enough. I've highlighted this play more than once, but obviously every year a new Madden comes out and they pretty much break some of the cheaper things that guys like me do, and this play is no exception. They definitely took away one of my more favorite parts from this play, but it's okay, it's still a great play, you know what I mean? So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna explore a new way to use this as part of my one play touchdown video that I already put out, and you know, this whole scheme that I'm doing. So the PA slot cross at the bottom there, that's the play. On the defensive side, I'm going to pick random defense for pretty much everything we're going to play against today. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead with random. Now, the first time that I put this play out was like Madden 16, maybe. I think the first year that I started doing YouTube, I used to motion over this receiver. This back in the day, the outside zones didn't cover very well, and this route was pretty much wide open. I didn't catch it there. I'm still getting used to the new route catching, but you can see there, even there, he was still open. I mean, this play still works like this, but it's definitely not as consistent. So this is not the way that I'm going to say it. There was a man coverage, so I motion snapped it to kind of cheat my way a little bit and get a little bit of a boost to beat the man coverage. But overall, that's not the way that I'm really going to say using the play. Like I said, it still works to an extent. You know, the motion snapping might help. As you can see there, actually he was covered, so I went with the running back. Now the running back was the second way that I ran this play for the most part of last year, and I think probably the year before that. But I'm going to show you later in the video that the running back play action route does not work anymore. I keep the play action, but it's really all about this receiver now. Once again, still not catching the ball. I'm going to get better with that. The way that I run it now is I motion in the X route just like I did in the one play touchdown play. And the reason I do that is simple. He basically gets open right away against most coverages. Cover 3, cover 2. There's not somebody typically covering him. Now this against a user if he sees you motioning in this guy, he might think it's the one play touchdown play that I put out last time, which I guess I'll pop a link for that hopefully as I'm talking. But you know, he's going to either think it's the same play that I put out before if you're using that a lot, or if he catches on and he thinks you're going to start doing this, that's fine, because there's other routes that are going to be open, like the R1 route. That's what makes this play so good. You have 2 receivers at opposite ends of the field. They're both in the slot essentially, and they're both getting open at different levels. The user's got to pick one. You can't pick them both. So you basically pick whichever one. You play a little cat and mouse game. You pick whichever one the receiver or the user coverage player's not covering. It's that simple. So if he starts cheating over to the X route, then you hit the R1 route. If he starts cheating over the R1 route, you hit the X route. It's that simple. There's no way that both can be covered by one person. Now, another play I'm going to show later in this formation is a very similar concept, except 2 of the receivers are on the same side of the field. You know, so I'll be going over that in a minute. But the R1 route, I mean, like I said, users typically would be dropping into the R1 route. A smart user typically will cover what's over the middle. But like I said, the X route is then going to be wide open. I would say that your check down's probably going to be the tight end now, but you're not typically going to need a check down on this play. That's the thing. But either way, I was explaining earlier that the running back doesn't really work anymore, so I just pretty much started taking that away and making it a blocker and making the tight end a check down, because for whatever reason the running back gets caught up in the lineman so often that it just makes it pointless to make that running back do that route anymore. And that's a shame, because it used to be a great play where the running back would get wide open in the flat, and then the blocker, the tight end would be the blocker. So it is what it is. Like I said, I still like the play action, but the route is just worthless. So if you haven't noticed, I've been blocking the running back now, and it's still a really great play. You can also make this is kind of like a one play touchdown look, the same way that the one play touchdown video was, if you just put the B receiver on an out route the same way. It's essentially the same look. So if you notice here, I'm doing that. I'm putting this guy on DJ Chark on an out route, and just kind of hoping that I get this one play look. I don't necessarily get going, but if you do that, you have the option for a one play in the same play, but it's definitely not as effective as the one I put out previously. I'll go ahead and I'll give it one more try, and then I'll move on to the next play. I would say, I mean, this looks like a man coverage, but pretty much every play looks like a man coverage this year, because that's just the way the zone's set up. So I have no idea. That could have been a man blitz. It could have been a zone. that's pretty much it for that play. So I'm going to go ahead and go on to another good one. I would like to do a run play at the end of this 3-play set. Either way, this is a pass formation, so let's continue with the pass plays. Another really good pass play that I use quite a bit is the Salem. That's the one at the top there. We'll go ahead and we'll pick that. This is the play that I was referring to earlier when I said that there's you know, a play where there's 2 receivers on one side of the field that are going to be doing the same thing as the original play. I motion out the running back because you can have that option, but the real play is the RB route. I put him on the slant, and you can see he's pretty much going to come open underneath the streaking tight end right there. So the streaking tight end will get open against cover 3s, a lot of different things, but the RB route will typically come open underneath that. Same concept applies to the previous play that I showed. The user is going to have to cover the tight end or the receiver. They're not going to be able to cover both. I'm moving the ball over because that'll make the running back route a little bit better. The running back plays off of the X route pretty good. Every once in a while I'll throw to the, I call it the C route. I'm not sure what the actual name of it is. But if you throw when he's in that break, or you get a man coverage or something, that C route's going to be good. And if the coverage drops back to the C route, then the running back's going to be really good. Like right there, I probably could have hit that. But most of my reads are going to be on the right side with the tight end and the running back. That's pretty much going to be my first 2 reads. But this play, like I said previously, you have to split the field in half pre-snap. You know what I mean? Like you have to diagnose it. If it's cover 2, the left side of the field is probably going to be the way to go. If it's cover 3, the right side of the field is probably going to be the way to go. So you should know pre-snap which dynamic you're going to be playing off of. So like right there, I've diagnosed pre-snap. I think it was a man coverage. I'm not entirely sure, but I definitely saw that the coverage was tight to the C route. You can move in the C route the same way I did in the previous play, and that'll have some effect. I mean, you can see there he didn't really break out the same way, but it got the slanting receiver open all the way at the end of the play. So you can uniform this play, but it's not necessarily going to be as effective for the C route. Is all I'm really going to say about that. But this play is really the most effective part of this play is the right side with the RB and the A route, which I haven't hit too much. So I'm going to go ahead and hit him there. That looked like a cover 4. Don't sleep on that A route. That A route is actually a really good route. I just haven't highlighted too much because the RB is the safer version of it, and it'll get open more often. But a good user might be able to drop back on that A route and then jump on the RB route. If that's the case, obviously these outside options are really good, like the running back here and the C route. I mean, there's 4 options on this play that should get open 90% of the time. So we're going to go to the last play now. We're going to continue with this concept with the slant to buck down here at the bottom. We're going to continue with the concept that, you know, you're going to create 2 options at 2 different levels, and your opponent can't cover both. So I'm going to drag the A route, slant the B route, and then motion in this receiver yet once again. I'm not going to motion in this receiver every time, but I'm going to show you why in a minute. But either way, you have 2 levels of coverage now. You have the B route coming open underneath, and then you have the RB route coming open deep. The one that probably will come open the most is the RB route. The B route should come in late to the point where your user opponent might be covering elsewhere already. But you can see here that the deep route is probably going to be open more often. In this particular play, I didn't know if I mentioned, but I'm blocking the running back as well. The X route is really just pulling coverage. That's really all that route is doing. But in a second, I'll show you how you can basically just send him deep against most coverages. And for whatever reason in this year's game, it seems to work. The A route too, by the way, it looks like for the most part it's meant to pull coverage, it's meant to pull linebackers down, but it's actually a pretty good check down. So don't lose sight of it. If these other 2 routes are covered for whatever reason, the A route is also there. I find that if you motion in the X route and put him on a streak against a cover 3, more typically, he has a chance of getting gone. If he gets even with that defender and you loft it up, he has a good chance of getting really deep. Against cover 2s, though, if you leave him out there and put him on a streak the same way, he can have that same effect. This is obviously cover 3, and I didn't diagnose it to the point where I motioned him in. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, like I said, just remember, cover 3, motion in the wide receiver and send him on a streak. Cover 2, leave him out there. So here, this looks like it's probably a cover 2. So I'm going to leave him out there. You can also see that cornerback is right in his face. Anytime that happens, you have a good chance of floating it up and getting it going. There, I didn't take the chance, though. I tried to throw it over the middle, bad pass. Maybe, you know, I was getting a little bit of pressure. But here, once again, it looks like a cover 2, especially if it's a hard flat. If it's a hard flat cover 2, look at the distance between that receiver and that safety. I mean, he's just lost on an island out there. And if you have a fast enough receiver, just float it up. Wasn't a touchdown, but definitely a big play. So that's really all that matters. So that's it, either part 2 or on my Patreon. Thank you guys for watching either way. If you guys want to see more plays from the Jaguars, do me a favor, hit the like button, I'll do that. Other than that, thanks for watching. Madden Money Shot out. Need more help or just want to show your support? Then head over to my Patreon and join my team, where you can get exclusive content like ebooks and bonus plays, as well as early access to my vids and more. Link in the description below.